Okay, welcome to this month's TSC meeting. I will skip over the usual uh, opening slides. Okay. So we have maintained all the meeting notes and all the past slides on GitHub as well as on Gitty. So everyone could check it out, and if you have any questions, please feel free to raise it on our mailing list. So let's just quickly review our meeting minute from last meeting. So last meeting, basically we review the release note and the release plan overview. We have folks coming over presenting about a new C called AKG, Automatic Kernel Generation proposal. And also we discuss about setting up MindSpore learning group or study groups. So similar to the TFUG, it's a local developer meetup, some sort of thing. So I'm still tracking the developers to provide the sample code we mentioned last time to best like show the difference between those manually written operators and automatically generated operators. I think we have a demo video, but I need to double check if that video actually shows what we need here. So my side is still lacking on this front. So I will try to have the English version of the differential privacy. Also, there's I think another article that TSC members are interested in about comparing the size of the big data set and the small data set. So I will try to translate both articles and publish it on Medium, so you can review it. And the recording has already been submitted to YouTube. You can check it out anytime. Okay, so if there's no questions regarding our last meeting minute, so we consider it approved. Okay, let me moving on to this month. So community update. We held several public talks on a really major online event in China. For example, the AI ProCon hosted by CSDN and the WIC. WIC is a very large AI conference started last year. We have Jack Ma and Elon Musk did a conversation type of panel. So this year's event mostly transformed into online. So for the developer day sessions, so I presented, I think, one talk about MindSpore, and also we presented one talk on the AI Open Day, which is hosted by LFAI and GDG. We are still seeing articles published by individual developers on social media. So there's a really nice series of study notes. So there's a developer, I think he's using MindSpore to study deep learning in general. So he kind of spontaneously maintained a series of, I think by far there are 4 articles to try to use MindSpore to help him understand what like the major concept in deep learning. We published several promo articles on Chinese IT social media during the past month. We've collectively we held 6 sessions on the TikTok, the live talk sharing with audience, and we have in total more almost 3,000 viewers participated. We also did a promo video for the latest, our first beta release, 0.5.0. So we got a really nice total viewership. So it's almost a viral video at the moment, but we just uploaded to many of the Chinese video site. If you're interested, I can upload it to YouTube for you to review. Technical promotions. For example, we have several what we call the side project or experiment project that like experimenting MindSpore with some of the cutting edge directions. One is to see if we can like utilize WebAssembly with MindSpore. So WebAssembly is a native format of in comparison to JavaScript. So it provides a native performance on web browser. And recently there's I think I mentioned during last month meeting. So there are several major companies pushing WebAssembly into out of browser, also onto server, onto desktop, laptop. So I think we start to discuss with the TVM community about leveraging many of the TVM existing experiment with Rust and also their experiment with WebAssembly, since TVM provide a nice auto-generated operator capability, so that we don't need to manually write so many operators in Rust in WebAssembly. So this is like a hot topic, as you can see. Check it out. Another technical promotion is we started the MindSpore Model Development Challenge in China on Huawei Cloud. So we prepared 10 models that for developer to develop, and we provide a handsome reward, I think. So by far we have more than 400 participants, which organized into like more than 80 teams. So this is kind of a big challenge, a big contest. Okay, community side. So actually we have 96 now. So I need to update the number, but the 6 are still running their monthly public meeting, and also meeting recordings are uploaded. If there are meetings in English, I will upload them to YouTube. So during past month, we also have some um, changes in the leadership at SIG level. We have SIG compiler elected a new SIG lead, and also the SIG AKG, the newly formed SIG AKG, promoted a new approver, which is Professor Zhao Jie is I think he has a really deep understanding on the compiler side. He I read one of his articles explaining the polyhedral compilation, which is really eye-opening. So you can check out all the details on the mailing list. As I mentioned, we try to maintain everything open and transparent. So some stats in general, we reached almost 3K in 3 months, more than 1K fork, and this is combined the DT and the GitHub. Our release, the binary download has passed more than 7K in total. The Pipey download actually passed 4,000, I think. Here are some interesting graphs I grabbed from our our we have a open source like a data management board, and also I found a open source repo analysis actually from Onyx, from the Onyx community, and tried it on MindSpore. So this is only the GitHub stats, which I think represents half of the MindSpore's developer ecosystem. As you can see, there are like more and more Git clones happening on GitHub for our each release. And for the star trend, we have a nice linear increase. So this is some interesting graph on the stats. Okay, so let me briefly review our last release, which is our first beta release, and then I will preview the upcoming release by the end of the month. As usual, in at the beginning of July, our release manager for this cycle already sent out the release plan to the mailing list, to the TSC mailing list for your review, and all the release preparation also on GT Wiki. Okay, let me go over to so the 0.5.0 release was our first beta release, which is a significant development for us. I think for the whole community as well. It means MindSpore getting more stabilized, and the APIs will be more stabilized. So the past release, we shipped, I think, several major features. The first one is quantitative training. This is first time we support quantitative training in MindSpore. And also heterogeneous execution on CPU and SN for the wide and deep model, which is widely used in the recommendation scenario. Another one is with the help of the new AKG SIG, we start to support the fusion architecture. So now a developer can do the fusion optimizations and auto-generated some of the fusion operators, which could be like highly optimized for performance. We also shipped the first graph convolutional network model in our last release. Yeah, I think these are the highlight. Another one is the LSTM support finally landing CPU. I think we planned for LSTM for the earlier release, the 0.3.0. But that release, we shipped too many models that the LSTM was not like completely landed on that version, and uh, finally we have it in our last release. Okay, for our upcoming release, these are the current release plan. So this is the calendar for the development. Um, so there won't be like many new features in the upcoming release. Mostly are like more stabilizing features. So we will continue to ship some of the quantitative training features. We will add official serving support for MindSpore, and also we'll provide the parameter server for distributed learning support. By the way, we already have a way of doing this just for the general setup using Kubernetes and Volcano. So this is the first time we ship a official support in MindSpore. So you don't have to rely on like translate to Onyx model to do the serving in Kubeflow. Yeah, we'll ship more models that support GPU. Uh, so make developers more convenient to try out and experiment MindSpore. Yeah, so this is the gist of our upcoming release. So it will be a small release, given the hectic release schedule we have. So, but it will still be a more stabilized release. Okay. So for community operation, as I mentioned, I think we have discussed several times during past meeting to start the meetup groups. So we will start the MindSpore study group this, this weekend, and we will start with Shenzhen. Shenzhen's meetup on this Saturday to kick off the local meetups. I think we will announce the Hangzhou MSG one as well. And we plan for the first Hangzhou meetup next week. So sorry for the Chinese content, but this is a flyer we provide like for the promotion of MSG. We already have developers for more than 7 cities in China interested in organizing the meetups. So we will we'll be vetting for those who are qualified to organize such activities, and all the MSG activities will be summarized and be reported to the TSC meeting, so that TSC has a overview of how the the local meetup groups are doing, and also we welcome global meetup group volunteers, and um, we will provide any support for out of China meetup organizations. So like action items for me is translation of several the Chinese articles like I mentioned, and also I will find out the demo video showing the autokernel generation, the AKG module that showing the difference between the manually coded operators and the automatically generated operators. Okay, this is my reaches the end of my presentation. Any questions or anything you want to discuss? Okay, you hear me now? Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Hi, can you hear me now?
Is the audio working for the rest of us?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah, it seems it works.
I think so.
Right. I can hear you, yeah, but I cannot hear China.
Yeah, okay, so it's a problem on this
Right.
one.
Intercontinental.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll also lose the Zoom
see,
call in 10 minutes.
He can hear us, but not vice versa. Oh well. No, not at the moment. It's radio silent. For about when we were messaging, so a couple of minutes.
Oh, shoot.